following podcast is intended for mature audiences. The opinions expressed do not reflect this station or any affiliated partners. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geek EZ.
And we are live. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything to say?
Ow!
Ow? What did you do?
I angered a spider in Warframe.
Why would you do that?
Oh god, he's turning to me.
Well, you brought that on yourself.
Shouldn't we be starting with a moment of silence?
I'm pretty sure he would prefer us to be dorks rather than be silent.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I'd be right there too.
Besides, the past couple days, there's been plenty of that, as it is. A lot of outpouring.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, it's Mr. Stanley.
For those that don't know what we're talking about, have you been living under a rock?
Let's see, we got Firefly commenting here. In the first, a toast. Mr. Lee's watch has at last ended. He makes now for the undiscovered country, there to surely rendezvous with the original bullpen in search of new adventures.
I find it really, really touching when he died that the week beforehand I had gone to the Comic-Con over in Akron, Ohio, and I met, I do believe his name is Alan Bellman, who was one of the original Timely artists. Before Marvel even existed, he was there when Spider-Man, Iron Man, and all of them were created. Had a great time talking to him.
Yeah, I saw that picture. I was a little bit jealous.
He was a really cool guy. Gave my daughter some free stuff. I got the man still draws. I have a piece of artwork signed by the man that I bought.
Nice.
Now you laminate that, and you put it in a frame, and then you lock it in a safe, and then you put that safe in a bigger safe.
I don't know if I'll do all that. I mean, I might frame it. It's a picture of Cap smashing Nazis. Actually punching Hitler, if I'm not mistaken.
Classic.
That's what he does.
That's what you do.
So we found out he is one.
Who was a Nazi?
Captain America, I
Captain
think.
America.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Stan Lee. I'm like, Stan Lee was not a Nazi.
Yeah,
Drop
his real name
kick a small
was
rodent.
his real last name is Lieber, and was very Jewish.
Very Jewish.
Like how we promised not to talk over each other, and then the first thing me and Wolfie do.
Yeah, but it happens. And you know what? I caught it. It's working okay. I mean, if everybody can see this and the animations out there, this is something new. We're trying. We'll see what happens.
My back is going to be very stiff by the end of this.
Okay, that's
You're
not funny.
back. I just looked and I realized, I thought for a second that I had a chair, and then I realized it was just part of Stanley's shoulder.
The cool thing is when Badger keys up, I don't have to worry about animations for Badger because he's just a ghostly voice and we don't have to worry about him.
Ghost Badger. Ooh.
Anyway, another thing about Stanley, didn't know that he was a veteran himself, and served in World War II with the title of playwright, and I think he left as a sergeant.
Really, I didn't realize he had gotten that high.
Oh, based on the photo that the official tweet or Twitter for Stan Lee put out, he's got sergeant stripes.
Sweet.
And
Arguably, that means he was actually slightly higher ranking than Leonard Nimoy. Ish. I'm not sure. Leonard Nimoy had the weird specialist ranks thing that they were doing back then.
And for those who don't know, at least we still have Stan's brother, Larry, who is credited as the co-creator of Iron Man, Thor, and Ant-Man.
It's just going to be weird. I don't know. It's just going to be weird.
Well, we know that they've already recorded all of his cameos for the next several films, all the way to Avengers 4. And I thought, it would be kind of cool that they could do. I think we might have discussed something similar, but I thought it'd be cool. What they should do is, like, as a tribute to not just him, but to other past greats, they do some kind of, I don't know, slow motion pass by or whatever, and you see the Watchers, but the faces of the Watchers are like Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, and so on.
You know what? Before we go any further, Firefly, how do we sound? Just give me a quick shout out and let me know.
It's kind of important to know.
This will also let us know how long of a delay there is.
Just blink twice if the quality is okay.
Blink 9 times if it's bad.
Fall asleep if you're tired.
You can dance if you want to.
But you cannot
Smoke
leave your
'em.
friends behind.
Smoke them if you got them.
He says we're all good, so we're good.
Yeah, well, like I said, my back's going to be very stiff because, we have to hold this pose. If we move just an iota off, the animation's going to be totally screwed up.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about this, is that there's no real movement. I mean, there could be, but I really don't feel like going that far with the live shows. I mean, it would be nuts. It would be the logistics of trying to make sure everything lines up perfectly and works perfectly would be nuts.
Well, I'm just upset that you're the only skinny person here.
Keto diet, baby. Keto diet.
See,
Hey,
you
I'm
say
not
that word.
fat.
You say that word diet, and I don't understand that word.
It makes me violently angry.
Now, the bad thing is I have gotten lax with it, and I've probably put on about 6 or 7 more pounds since I was down to, 207 was my lowest, and now I'm probably back up to about 215. But at 6 foot, it doesn't look bad on me.
At 5'6", it just looks like you look about 300 pounds.
Yeah, luckily I'm not that short.
Shut up.
Hey, look, I missed you talking. How'd that happen?
Because I'm a ninja.
A pizza ninja.
True statement.
So, Stan Lee, memories of Stan Lee that we have. My memories of Stan Lee begin probably with Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends back in the 80s.
I would probably say the same thing, just from the voice anyway. I wouldn't have known that was him, but from the voice, yeah, I could recall it. He has a very distinctive way of kind of setting things up and telling a story.
Excelsior. I just like that we were all true believers.
Oh, the amount of true believers there were is pretty wide-ranging, although there was a clickbait article in regards to that, but I'll get to that in a second. There's a lot of actors. I mean, you got Kevin Conroy, who also, paid tribute to Stan Lee, and several of the Star Trek actors, both from The Next Generation and Discovery, were, paying tribute. And that's where the clickbait article thing came in. it was saying that the Star Trek actors stands in solidarity with Stan Lee. It was like kind of makes it sound like they were actually having some kind of disagreement, dispute, or something like that. And or at least that's how some people are taking it to mean. And I'd read it as like they're just showing their support and respect for him.
I think the only thing I saw was that Army Hammer was like lit into people with all their photos because they were selfies with Stan Lee. It's like, of course you're gonna post a picture of yourself with like the legend, but he kind of made a big deal about it, and I guess, what's his name from The Walking Dead? What's it? Oh, why can I not remember this actor's name? The guy who plays Negan.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, he kind of fired back. I didn't read it. I didn't finish the article. If anybody wants to bring it up and read what he said back to Army Hammer, but I'm guessing a lot of people took issue with it and then started posting more selfies with Stan Lee.
Oh, even Brian Michael Bendis commented about that too. He's like, "Yeah, of course we're gonna post our, in quote unquote, I'm just quoting him here. We're gonna post our shit pictures with Stan Lee because they're our shit pictures with Stan Lee."
Of course
He
they
posted
are.
he posted a rather touching story actually, in comic form on the New York Times.
I did not see that.
Oh, it was great. He said the first time he met his legend, his mentor, his hero, whatever, when he was a kid, and it was at a small convention way back in the day. And he said he saw him step off the bus, and he looks at me and he goes, "Brian Michael Bendis," and I go, "You know my name?" And he looked at me and said, "You got a name tag on your shirt, you schmuck." My hero called me a schmuck. Apparently, his health was definitely pretty rough getting towards the end there, because that was another thing that Bendis commented on, that he came into his office and they talked, and one of the things that was mentioned is like, honestly, I can't see anything anymore. Like I don't see you. I know there's just this pink blob on top of a darker blob.
Pink blob on top of a darker blob.
Well,
That's a very Stan Lee thing to say.
yeah, he was. I guess for the past year, he's been having health issues. He's canceling appearances and stuff. And
Pneumonia.
I know I told my daughter yesterday because they were watching Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and he is in that movie. And I was like, "Oh yeah, baby, I forgot to tell you, Stan Lee died." She got all upset. She's like, "Isn't he the guy? Didn't he work with the guy we met?" I was like, "Yes, he did." I mean, she's only 7, but she's such a geek.
Raising right.
The words of advice that Mr. Bellman gave my daughter were, when he found out, he asked her what she wants to be when she grows up, and she goes, "I want to draw." And he says, "Don't be a comic book artist."
Well, it's famously said by Jack Kirby, this business will break you, or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm still amazed there are some people out there who still have work in comics, writing and drawing. Some of the stuff that I've read, it's just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, my cousin Chris went to a college out in, I think, New Jersey, and he wanted to be a comic book artist, but I don't think he's found a whole lot of luck.
It's very difficult to get into that particular industry. It's very much a case of who you know versus what you're capable of doing.
It is, and he's fantastic. His drawing is amazing, but it's a hard industry to get into. Very, very hard.
There are thousands upon thousands of people out there who are not only good enough, but probably better than some of the artists out there. But, like you said, it's hard to get into, and maybe, like Comfort and Adam, they'll just start their own. Well, the cool thing is, when I was at the Comic-Con, I also met met up back up with a buddy of mine, Ted Sikora, who draws a local comic that has now gone international. I'm going to give him a plug for the Tap Dance Killer, which I've got the first 3 issues of, and probably going to be doing some pinup work for him for future books or possibly covers for the books. Little plug for myself. But the books themselves are really good. They're set in Cleveland because he's a Clevelander, and it's Cleveland's first superhero, or second superhero. She's not really a superhero, she's an anti-hero. Apama was the first one. That book doesn't sell anywhere near as good as the Tap Dance Killer, though.
Cleveland needs a hero because they have the Cleveland Browns.
Who are not doing that bad this year.
Yeah, they're still not relevant.
Wolfie, you've been really quiet.
I actually stepped away for a second.
No, you didn't. You were sitting right here.
My main Stan Lee memories just come from, the 90s when he was kind of the unofficial spokesman for all of comics. And, he started appearing everywhere.
He really did.
Really loved meeting the fans. I mean, there was a little video that was put out on his Twitter account today when, in a, unprompted moment, as he explained, why he kept on doing it, going to the conventions, things like that. He does it for the fans. He really loved it. Thought it was a great thing that there were people who really dig the stuff that they do, and he felt it was owed to them to, reached out to them and meet them.
Now, we could do a moment of silence for Stan if you wanted to, but again, and I'm not talking. I'm talking, but I'm not talking. We could do it, but I don't think, like Alistair said, that he'd want us to be geeks and be fans and to remember him and to not. What's the word I'm looking for?
Jovial.
Yeah, be like celebrate his life. Don't mourn his death, but celebrate his life. The man literally changed. Stan Lee is as influential to the culture we live in as, say, George Lucas or Steven Spielberg or anybody who, I'm trying to think, Stanley Kubrick. I'd put him right up there with him. He changed the way things were done.
One could debate till the cows come home whether he, with the whole Stan Lee versus Jack Kirby thing, but frankly, I think that they were more complementary than they were competitive to each other.
They only worked with each other and designed some of the greatest superheroes ever put on the page.
Well, I think the debate's more who deserves more credit, Stan Lee or Jack Kirby, and some folks take the position that Stan Lee's just taking credit that he doesn't deserve. I never got that impression from Stan Lee, from what video bits I've seen where he's talking. He mentions, well, Jack Kirby, would do this, and he would come up with things that I never would have thought of. He's given proper credit, in my opinion.
Unlike, say, Bill Finger.
He definitely.
Go ahead, Wolfie.
Wolfie.
I was gonna say he did enjoy being the face of things, but he never tried to throw Kirby under the bus. I know there was an interview where people claim he did, but even in that interview, he said, "Oh, there's plenty of people around here that do things I can't." Yet somehow that interview, people point to that as the beginning of him as the face of everything.
Stan the Manly.
He definitely didn't. He never, at least intentionally, Roddenberried it.
Roddenberried it. That's a new term. I like that.
He didn't become the great bird of comics.
Gene went out of his way to actively reinforce that image of the great bird of the galaxy. I don't think Stan intentionally stepped in anybody's way.
No, and from everything I've seen, everybody who had to talk with him, work with him, especially more recently, like Adrienne Curry, who was a co-host with him, I think, and with about cosplay and whatnot, said he was just a fantastic person. And there's others that say the same thing. He did not seem to put himself above others by any stretch of the imagination. Certainly not from what these other folks are saying.
He will be missed.
But it's kind of funny. You can see that he did have a very sharp, I guess, design sense to him. Did you see the video where he basically shreds Todd McFarlane and your favorite person in the world who can't draw feet?
Oh yes, that was on a video from ages ago. That was from like the '90s when Liefeld was first starting to do his stuff, and oh yeah, he, in a classy way, basically told Liefeld that he's out of his mind, and that he doesn't seem to understand why Liefeld was doing anything he did. Like the pouches. He's like, what's with the pouches?
Oh, it's like one part. It's like, they're drawing a character overkill. It's like, oh, this is definitely something. It looks bad, but you've done something.
Ah, Mr. Liefeld.
I mean, he was polite about it, but he definitely shredded them, and you could kind of tell they're like, they kind of picked up on that, I think.
It was a horrible drawing.
Also love the fact that somebody put like some comments on it where you know how to draw feet, right? Oh yeah, I know how to draw feet. And then somebody put a caption on there. He knows. Yeah, Stan Lee knew that no, he couldn't draw feet because it went through the whole that whole video. Got towards the end, he's like, "You're gonna draw the feet in there, right?" "Oh yeah," and they quickly draw in some feet. So he's like, he didn't let him get away with not drawing the feet.
I think one of the funnier Stan Lee moments was in Mallrats when Jason Lee and him were talking about whether the thing's dong was made of rock or Mr. Fantastic's if it could stretch, and even, I mean, you could see Stan. I know it was acting for Stan, but it was still. It's just when they handed him the script and he said, "This is what he's going to ask you." I'm sure when he looked at Kevin Smith and says, "Why are we talking about this?" I think that's the first time I actually saw Stan Lee visually like that. And then he went on to be in every Marvel movie that's ever been made.
Certainly practically, and more to come.
Now, he wasn't in Venom.
Did he actually have a hand in creating Venom or not?
No, he was so far out of... He was done by then. When Venom was created, he was no longer even editor-in-chief over there, I don't think.
I thought he was a dog walker in Venom.
Was he in... I gotta go... I mean, did I...
Google says he was a dog walker in Venom.
No, he was in the movie. Yeah, he was in Venom.
Now, him being the DJ at a strip club in Deadpool, that's pretty funny.
Yes.
I'm loving the fact that you're just a disembodied voice right now, Batter.
Well, just keep in mind too, that was Stan Lee's idea.
That's just funny.
That one was all Stan Lee.
He's a dirty old man.
He couldn't see anyway.
Was it his idea to also be mistaken for Hugh Hefner?
I think most of them were his idea.
I think my favorite one is the one where he's in the library wearing headphones and the battle's going on behind him.
Oh, and Spider-Man. Yeah. Spider-Man wasn't an amazing. It was the what's his name? Garfield Spider-Man.
He was with the lizard in that one, right?
Yeah.
Well, it is somber. He brought us so many memories, so many things that we look forward to every day, I guess. I mean, I don't think a day goes by where I don't see something that Stan Lee did, whether it's a comic book, something pops up, whether it's Iron Man or Thor, or the Fantastic Four, or something pops up on my Facebook feed, or a movie's on TV. I mean, like I said, the man did as much to change the American culture as some of the other greats that we put out there. Gene Roddenberry, George Lucas, all those guys. So now what do we talk about?
Oh, there's Fallout 76, the buggy edition.
Well, people who were lucky enough to get into the beta got to or are currently experiencing a certain number of bugs, if they're lucky or unlucky, such as a bug that accidentally uninstalled the entire game, quickly followed by a bug that didn't allow you to uninstall the game. Specifically, if you were an individual who got a referral code from a friend who had pre-purchased the game, because people who pre-purchased the game got some of them got 2 codes to get the friends so they could join them. There was a bug on the Bethesda launcher where if you don't own the game, you can't uninstall it without jumping through hoops or anyway. And now that the game's out, there's a bug where certain achievements can't be unlocked by beta characters that people are still playing, so you have to make a new character and lose all of your progress.
Wow, and I thought Battlefront and what was the other one? Battlefield were having issues.
Mm-hmm. There's a reason I went out of my way to go ahead and state that I was not getting Fallout 76 until a year after launch.
By the way, I again, from multiple sources, Battlefield 5 is supposedly so incredible.
I don't really care.
Well, I've watched a couple of streams of people playing it, and it visually looks insane. It really is World War II. I bet you. I mean, if you killed all the heads up stuff and killed the HUD on it, and you were just playing blind, yeah, it's downright creepy actually. I just don't like first-person shooters.
You know what also is apparently pretty creepy is Red Dead Redemption 2. Especially the graphics. They've done a fantastic job with it. With some of the Skyrim quirks.
Can you ride a horse vertically up a mountain?
Give it time. I'm sure someone's going to try it.
I'm sure they will. But does anyone take an arrow to the knee?
Well, you did.
Twice.
Wolfie has. He's also apparently taken one to the larynx.
I'm here. Sorry.
Are you tired?
Long day.
Wolfie sleepy.
Well, we'll do a short show again. We don't have to go crazy. We're a half hour into it. We already hit 2 topics. And it's been a slow news week.
Yeah, it's been pretty slow.
We need to talk about that trailer for Detective Pikachu.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
No,
Yes,
no,
it
we
looks
really
fantastic.
don't. We need a week to process that thing.
No,
That slice of deliciousness.
Yes, I need to see that now.
Well, go watch it.
I mean the movie.
Really, Adam?
I'm not going to deny it. I actually watched the trailer, and my kids were watching it with me, and I was like, you know what? That doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, but the image that you pick, really, you're going to go with the sad Pikachu face?
Well, yeah.
Even Fireflies, I was like, where are you going with that? thing.
Pika Pika. Come on, it had Mr. Mime.
Which apparently they've got a lot creepier aspect to it than people hadn't considered.
I just like the fact that Pikachu slammed into the invisible wall.
Did you notice that his shoulders were kickballs?
Whose shoulders?
Mr. Mime.
Did not notice that.
Did you know that hair isn't hair?
I know there's a
Yes, and
controversy over fuzzy Pikachu.
Yeah, that now that you said that, I've noticed it, and now it disturbs me.
What's more, he gets upset if you disrespect his mom or something like that. And apparently in the anime, he got upset because Ash was being disrespectful or something, and now he's living with his mother. There's a lot of connotations that are really screwed up about that old TV show.
Well, doesn't he talk about going on vacation with Ash's mom or something?
I believe so.
It's a messed up cartoon.
It really is.
What's wrong with Sad Pikachu, by the way?
You're just pulling on the heartstrings, man. It's like, oh, the big eyes thing. Like, no puppy dog eyes with a Pikachu. Don't hit us with that.
Sorry, it was the best image I could find. It was the clearest one. The other ones looked they were blurry because they were screen grabs. This one actually is a pretty still shot. You're right, though. I mean, the whole, oh, poor Pete. I mean, he knows that Alistair doesn't like it.
Yeah, but he's looking at me. Quit it.
All right, I'll move.
Turn your face over to Alistair instead.
It isn't that I don't like him. It's that I found that trailer to be a cringe fest.
Okay. That's okay. I can give you that one. Well, was it Toy Story dropped a couple of teaser trailers as well for Toy Story 4, which I'm still trying to figure out why they're making a Toy Story 4, but hey, that's just me.
Money.
Because there's a plastic spoon that talks now.
It's a
and is
spork.
alive. The question is it going to be one of these things of, recycled toys come back as living utensils, or everything in the world is alive?
Well, I think he's a toy and he comes to life because somebody made him into a toy. That's what it looked like. Because I mean, they put like wire around him, or was it a pipe cleaner for arms and a face or whatever? And all of a sudden, he's like, "I'm not a toy. I don't belong here."
So they're basically doing a more G-rated Chucky's?
Well,
but see, to me, that implies he was alive before that. And if he has the concept of knowing he's not a toy.
that's true. Now, I guess I read an early synopsis was supposedly they kind of go on the road looking for Bo Peep because she wasn't in the third one. I guess she was sold in a yard sale or something, and they go find Bo Peep because Woody misses her or something stupid like that. Again, the third one was so good. I don't see why they're making a fourth one.
Money.
But Pixar can make money from not doing sequels.
This is just more money.
Now, speaking of sequels, Wreck-It Ralph looks really good, the newer Wreck-It Ralph one.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's going to be between the Grinch, Wreck-It Ralph, and yeah, it's going to be a holiday season of going to the movies. with the kids.
I'm actually kind of looking forward to Wreck-It Ralph.
The first one was good.
First one was excellent.
I should have seen it in theaters, but I did not.
I was like watching the stuff on TV, and I was like, "Holy crap, that's Sonic!" And my kids are like, "Well, yeah, Dad, he's in this one. I'm pretty sure Mario is too." I was like, "Oh, okay. You guys know more than I do." Hey, they stole my my line. That's the line I used on Facebook when I posted the trailer. What the fork?
Well, Forky is apparently the character's name.
Fork you.
Language.
Kiss your mother with that mouth.
See, the comeback for that would be no, but I kiss yours. But I can't do that to you. That'd be very not cool.
You also don't sound enough like Daryl Hammond as Sean Connery to pull it off.
But I can do that. Sean Connery. Trebek. Aha.
Another trailer that, or new trailer that dropped was the Battle Angel Alita, and it actually looks a lot better than the first one they did.
It actually looks really good. I'm actually really excited for that one too.
I didn't even like the anime. Why would I go watch the movie?
Because you want this movie to succeed, so they'll eventually make better movies of better anime.
I want a live action Akira.
What Alistair said.
That's what I just said.
I know.
Akira would be a tough one to make live action, though.
Why?
Well, from a conceptual standpoint, being able to tell the story, not so difficult. It's all of the various effects that they'd have to do. You know, the whole, I don't know, losing control of his powers, the arm. But it's really weird, man. I don't know how you could do it. Obviously, you probably could, CG and all that, but still, I don't know. Some things are best not to be transitioned over to live action.
Okay. So yeah, I guess kind of like Watchmen, but the stuff in Akira, I mean, special effects wise, would be fairly easy to pull off.
Yeah, but it might just look like crap then.
Did they ever solve the controversy of how you pronounce his name? Is it Canada or Canada?
Canada.
Canada.
I
So
mean,
it's
I know
Canada.
Warner Brothers has been trying to do a live action Akira for like 10 years.
Has it been that long?
Something like that, yeah. I know Taika Waititi was in talks to direct it at one point.
Did not know that.
Or he may actually have signed on to direct it. I'm not sure.
By the way, I went out and saw Overlord this last weekend.
Was that any good?
Abrams, the zombie Nazi Abrams movie, and to be honest, I usually hate zombie movies. This one was actually not too bad. It was cliche, but I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. It was worth going out and seeing, and I liked it.
Did Fitz go full zombie?
Oh, he did. He sure as heck did.
Meh.
It's
Yeah,
worth
I don't do
seeing.
zombies.
I don't usually either, but a friend of mine convinced me. Let's go see it just for something to do, and I said okay, and we went, and I actually enjoyed it. Not enough. There really wasn't a whole lot of the zombies, so most of the movie was mostly about World War II. But other than that, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I had heard good things about it.
Well, I don't do zombie. Like, The Walking Dead is ridiculous at this point. because they're not only. I mean, I keep up with it just because friends of mine are Walking Dead fans and stuff. I'll watch every once in a while. I did watch the one where Negan beat the snot out of people with a baseball bat because of the effects and stuff. I wanted to see how far they took it on television, and I was impressed. But the ridiculousness of that. Now I guess they're going 6-7 years into the future, which would make it like a decade since the outbreak started. Yeah, zombies wouldn't last that long. I'm pretty sure that nature and bugs and all that other stuff would have. I mean, they're still dead. They still decay. They would just fall apart after a while.
Probably within a few months, actually. But
Probably,
as I
probably a few
recall,
weeks.
well, as I recall, they specifically mentioned though that everybody's a carrier, thereby there can always be new zombies being created.
But unless the population starts to build again of humans, then it wouldn't work. Hence why zombies are stupid bad guys. Well, zombies in the way the modern day zombie, the undead, the dead coming back to life. Not the voodoo zombies, which are people that are taken over and possessed that kind of way.
Well, it's a stupid concept in the long run, but in the short term, it's kind of horrifying.
Well, yeah, in the short term, it'd be really scary, but you just go find yourself a place to hide away for about a week and let nature take its course as these things start to break down under the sun and anything else that wants to start eating on them.
Well, I know in The Walking Dead, anybody that dies can reanimate.
True. And
It's some sort of pathogen or something.
well, they get that from the George Romero stuff. And speaking of George Romero, I have a friend of mine, big zombie fan, and he posted some article that George Romero's wife says there are 12 unproduced scripts that he had. I'm like, and let me guess, they all involve zombies. Somewhere, someone comes back to life and starts eating people.
Got better.
Ah,
Let's look at the chat here. Let's see. Firefly dropping about official trailer for Path of Exile's Betrayal. Also, he'd like to see a treatment of Red Storm Rising done in the style of, was it Pat Labor or Ghost in the Shell? And Red Storm Rising is meaty enough that you could get 2 concurrent movies out of it. And he also mentions at which point I remember a bit of advice from Quake 2 and Halo when it comes to dead bodies. But he didn't provide us what that bit of advice was. I'm assuming it's kill them all.
yes, kill them all. Shot to the head.
And you're to blame.
I'm pretty sure it's gib them.
Explosions!
No one's going to follow up with the Bon Jovi stuff?
Apparently not.
I was going to, but
I went there.
yeah, I know you did. You tried.
I tried. It didn't happen. Oh, yeah, there's also another thing. Apparently, yeah, and Firefly mentioned this, but we also talked a little bit before the show. Apparently, there's going to be a remake of the original Command & Conquer and Command & Conquer Red Alert. You know, after the debacle from the most recent thing saying, oh, yeah, we're going to go new Command & Conquer, and it just went,
Womp, womp, womp.
fell flat.
It was the Blizzard Activision Diablo Eternal fiasco before the Blizzard Activision Diablo Eternal fiasco. And silence.
I'm just still working through the fiasco names. So much fiasco. Wow.
Very
Hey,
bad
Smodog.
PR. Smodog. New person.
Yay, new
One
people!
of us.
Could you actually hold the button down for all of us doing one of us? I don't know. Are you trying or?
Am I trying to do what?
It's like if we all did one
Yeah,
of us.
he's holding it down for everybody. I'm watching everybody talk, but nobody says anything.
Nobody's saying a word.
We're having technical difficulties with our jaws.
Hey, give a guy a break.
Maybe you have to use same kind of the face rig thing to make it work when we speak. That'd be easier on the fingers.
Actually, this isn't too bad.
We'll figure something out that's more complex and easier on Adam at some point in the future. For now, he continues to do all the work.
At the very least, it's a good trial run.
It gives it adds a visual element that we didn't have before that we needed because it was just a static image with us talking, and I kind of like this. We look like Scooby-Doo characters. It's awesome.
We have to find a way using OBS to split us all into separate audio tracks that can each trigger their own character.
Oh, yeah. So Nintendo is suing a couple that has been behind some of these ROM sites for $12 million.
I thought they won.
They won.
They sued them a while ago.
Yep.
Yeah, that was just big news that they did win.
So Nintendo got to crush them.
Yep.
Well, supposedly the main reason Nintendo targeted them is because they were like actively trying to profit off the ROMs, unlike some of these other sites which don't really profit. These guys were like selling all kinds of advertising, and they had like the highest traffic, I guess.
Right, Smodog just threw me off here. I'm going back to Bubba the Love Sponge.
That's a name I've not heard in a long time. A long time.
There are a lot of people in the users list for us tonight.
It's because we actually have something to watch.
Well, the question is, are they, legit ones? The only one we know that's legit is Firefly and apparently Smodog, which we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. It's fun. I mean, it's nice having people listen to us ramble for no reason. Speaking of rambling, let's move on to Star Wars stuff.
Is there anything to actually talk about right now?
The Mando!
Oh, yeah, that thing. Of which Gina Carano is apparently now going to be in it as well.
And it's confirmed that Pedro Pascal is the main character, right?
From what we've seen, yeah, it's been confirmed he's playing whoever the Mandalorian is, yes.
I heard rumors that Boba Fett could show up, but that was just rumors.
I have a funny feeling he's going to be involved, simply because a lot of this concept art is repurposed 1313 concept art, and that was supposed to be about Boba Fett. So, knowing how Star Wars is operated behind the scenes for all these years, I've got a feeling he will be involved in some way.
Well, I mean, we got the rifle, which was Boba Fett's from the animated series. Bubba the Love Sponge is on Twitch? I did not know that. And yes, I know, I used to live in Florida, so yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, he helped bring down Hulk Hogan accidentally because, well, let's not get into all that.
Yeah.
He body slammed Hulk Hogan from the radio!
Oh, well then.
Now, the bigger news that came out of Lucasfilm was the development of the Cassian series, which kind of got me all like, ooh. Because the more I think about it, the more Rogue One really, really is one of the better Star Wars movies. Still in my top 3, but I think it's now moved up like to 2.
Really?
Yeah, it's when you put it into the entire lore of Star Wars, it just fits so well, and it was really well done for what it was. It just works.
Well, especially since everybody dies.
Well, yeah, it worked well that, but just visually, it fits and it fills in gaps. I mean, you don't need to watch it to understand what goes on in Star Wars, but it helps as a side. It's kind of like a B story in a Star Trek TV show. It's there. You don't necessarily need to see it, but it's there anyway, and it's fun to watch when it is there. But developing a series about Cassian, just that's a character that would be definitely worth watching because of some of the stuff that he said that and it alluded to have done, which would make him kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Cassian shows us a darker side of the rebellion. They're not, while it may be run by idealists, there are people behind the scenes that know that you've got to pull a trigger and assassinate someone or even shoot your own informant.
In the back.
Adam Cantina.
That's not for real, is it?
Yes, it is.
Wolverine's got the Infinity Stones.
Yep.
Well, he had one for a while.
Well, I know he had one, but he's going to have all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just
there aren't any details about the upcoming storyline besides knowing that the Infinity Watch was a team of beings who each guarded a single Infinity Gem to prevent them from being used together. It's also known that the series will team up with recently resurrected X-Man, Wolverine, with the God of Mischief himself, Loki. Writer Gary Dugan, who also penned the recent Infinity Wars, teased readers with the new cosmic status quo will demand watching.
Doesn't the new version of Wolverine have claws that heat up?
Yes.
I haven't paid any attention to that myself.
I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither. He came back and all of a sudden, hey, look, he can heat up from the inside. He's like Godzilla 2000.
No, I can't stop picturing Wolverine doing an atomic breath blast.
That's not where the atomic blast comes from.
I didn't say.
That's also not something he needs.
So, Smodog wants to know what we think about Disney's new streaming service. I think it's pretty unanimous that we all think it's absolutely stupid that everybody's trying to make their own streaming service because that's doing the exact opposite of what made streaming services like Hulu and Netflix succeed.
But as long as they keep the price point down, I'll buy it. I'll buy it anyway because I have kids.
Well, and honestly, in a way with Disney, it's still a cheaper option than what you had before because with most cable and satellite systems, Disney didn't have, like Fox has on-demand movies that are free and everything. Disney, all their animated stuff and everything, you had to pay to stream them even once.
But I mean, CBS All Access worked, so we'll see. I mean, it's obviously making money. They would have stopped it by now. And they keep saying that this is where the future of television is going.
Speaking of All Access, CBS greatly underestimated the demand for Discovery Blu-rays, apparently.
Well, if you can just go to stream, why would you buy it? I would prefer buying them just because I like to be able to watch them if I don't want to be online or if I'm somewhere else and I want to share with somebody. I also like just having a physical copy.
Yeah, that's what I'm about.
Well, I want the Blu-ray because supposedly there's deleted scenes and extras and stuff.
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, you get extra stuff that you just don't get with the online version. Although I guess if you go through iTunes, you can get some of that too. But yeah, we'll be stuck having to go to Disney. And guess what? That means I'm not going to Disney because there's only so many streaming services that I will pay for, and I'm only paying for one.
Well, even collegehumor.com now has a $3 a month like premium service, streaming service where they've got a bunch of new series and stuff.
And note what I'm not watching.
Why would I spend $3 to watch College Humor?
Because they turned actually into a full like half-hour game show. Precious Plum is back with a new ongoing series. Jake and Amir are back with an ongoing series. A bunch of stuff like that. And you gotta remember, Adam Ruins Everything is technically a College Humor series.
Yeah, but isn't that an actual TV show now?
It's owned by True TV.
Yeah, it is, but I'm saying it got its start through College Humor, so it's not like people don't have an interest in College Humor TV shows.
True.
Well, in that case, I would say it's more you're kind of helping to pay into these, young folks trying out, new stuff, original content, and it's kind of a good seed for them to be able to expand to something more, like with Adam Ruins Everything.
Well, at $3 a month, if it brings back Precious Plum and Jake and Amir and actually as a full series, I am seriously considering it because I will watch just those 3 shows even. And $3 a month for those shows ongoing sounds pretty good to me.
Meh.
And they've really stepped up. I know they've really stepped up their production values on the new shows because they've been releasing snippets and clips on their YouTube channel. And I mean, their already high production values have gone way up.
I got rid of the Mandalorian. See, I don't know. I mean, when it came to the Disney one, they're going to have separate layers to it within the actual app, I guess, for Roku or whatever you're gonna watch it, where it'll have separate things: Star Wars, Disney classic movies, Disney animated original series, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. It's something. It's just something that they're going to try to make it different than Netflix and Hulu. Those are where they're going as competitors. They're not seeing CBS All Access as competitor and stuff like that, I would believe.
To be honest, CBS All Access really isn't a competitor yet. If CBS gets maybe 3 more shows going that people are going to continuously watch, then yeah, I consider them a serious threat. But as of right now, all I would do is wait till season 2 of Discovery comes out, then pay for 1 month, binge that, then cancel.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
That's what everyone's going to be doing. And CBS is not going to be able to make money that way.
They have been,
more
apparently.
than one show. Yeah, but
Well,
I don't think they make enough.
They have more than one show. They still have their entire library of CBS shows from, current, playing, and past. So they're not without, means. It's just I have no desire to watch any of their stuff.
Well, there is rumors of a 3rd Star Trek series starring evil Philippa.
Yep, I saw that.
Worst idea ever.
I love Michelle Yeoh as an actress, but I don't think she understands Star Trek, and I think it affects her performance.
This is Discovery. Come on now.
So Snowdog said something that I didn't know was happening. I don't know if you guys did. You probably did, because I've been kind of out of it. But that Marvel was doing a Falcon Bucky series.
Yeah, they're a Loki series and a Falcon Bucky series.
I hope that the Falcon Bucky series is going to be like a buddy cop thing, just because they seem to be that way.
Wait, like live action or animated?
Live action.
Now, the big question with the Disney service that I think a lot of people haven't thought of is, are they eventually going to pull all the Buena Vista TV series is on to the streaming service, all the old stuff.
I would gather that to start, they do have like the Mandalorians in production right now, and they do have a couple other things in production right now. I'm going to take a stab and say that the Loki series is actually in production. They just didn't say anything about it until recently, just to make people go, oh, because they do that a lot, where something will be actually in the works, and then they'll be like, oh, you know what? We're going to have this show out, and it comes out in 2 months, and you're like, what? But they're going to probably bring a lot of ABC stuff over and maybe do spin-offs from some of the ABC TV shows because they do own ABC. But you never know. CBS
Well,
did
no,
that.
I'm just wondering about all the old TV shows that Disney produced that people don't realize because a lot of people didn't realize Buena Vista was owned by Disney for a long time.
Well, that would make perfect sense to fill it out, especially if it's stuff that you can't get anywhere else. Heck yeah, that's why I'm actually looking forward to it, because they're going to have cartoons and stuff that are not readily available anywhere else, and they're going to be on that service. So, and I'm a huge Disney animation.
What I'm mad about is with all these streaming services out there, nobody wants to put up the money to pay for the music rights so that we can frickin' watch the Drew Carey show.
Because Cleveland rocks.
But apparently, yeah, that's the big thing keeping the Drew Carey show. That's why it never finished its DVD releases, apparently, either, is because he used so much popular music that the music rights for the show are pretty expensive.
How did it air?
They must have paid the rights for it to air, but they must not have paid, like in perpetuity rights or something.
Odd.
Yeah, I wondered about that too. Not in the case of the Drew Carey, but there's been other shows where they've run into that same problem, like Tour of Duty. This was back in the early '90s, set in Vietnam, whatnot, and it was wildly praised for the tone that they set and the way they were doing, at least for the first 2 seasons, and the music that was used, which was period specific. And they didn't get the rights to keep that music in, and so had to replace almost all of it for the DVD releases. And it completely changes the entire feel of the series.
That was a great series.
It was. And so as you have to wonder, like, you had the rights before, what the hell happened?
Well, I know on the WWE network, they've gone back and they removed a lot of old music that they no longer have the rights to, and they use really bad generic music instead.
That's why we don't play music at all. Or anything from Fox.
Fox gets angry at us for some reason.
We still don't know why.
To this day. 3, 4 years. No, it's actually what now? How long have we been doing this? 4 years? 5 years?
It's been a while.
But yeah, we still have no idea why Fox put that copyright block on us.
Oh, apparently you can buy at least season 1 of the Drew Carey show on Amazon in in standard definition for
Well, it would have been
$20.
shot. It would have been shot in standard definition.
Yeah, but do you know how many of these shows have HD versions now, supposedly?
Well, they could be upgrades. Like, if it was shot on film, then yes, they could do HD upgrades and do it fairly easily, which is why they had such a hard time with the next generation, because it was mastered on videotape. They had to go back to the original negatives.
I'm pretty sure Drew Carey's probably mastered on tape, but yeah, apparently even then it's still only season 1 that's available. And $20 just for season 1. I can't bring myself to pay that anymore, especially just for streaming versions.
Yeah, especially if you're getting it from iTunes, which could instantly go, oh, guess what? Unless you download it so you have a copy on your hard drive, they could literally just tell you it doesn't exist anymore, and you're out to $20.
This is Amazon Prime, so I don't know if Amazon does it that way.
The ankle biter attacks.
Yippee dog was loud. Yeah, I do. I can see the appeal to the whole streaming thing. You can go access it Amazon Prime or iTunes, anywhere, whatever you got. But then it's like, for whatever reason, we closed down that whole thing. Now you've lost it all. You wasted your money. If as long as I have a physical copy, I can still watch it if I want to.
That's my issue right now. I have, just because you buy the digital copy with the Blu-rays and stuff, and with Movies Anywhere, the new streaming service that takes everything and puts it all in one place. Like if you have a Vudu account, iTunes account, Amazon account, it all goes into one place and it's shared all the way around, which it wasn't done before. But now it is. Now if I get a movie that's only Vudu and I plug that number in, guess what? It pops up on my iTunes. It didn't used to do that. It's because I bought the digital version of this, and depending on how I want to watch it, it's kind of cool. But if I don't download the video files and they say, oh, you know what, we're going to get rid of these, I'm out of luck because they're gone. Space-wise, these things are all 5 to 7 gigs for the HD versions. That's a lot of space. A lot of space. I mean, I've already got terabytes worth of stuff filling up drives right now, and I don't know if I could squeeze anything else onto these things. Speaking of which, I need to go clean my computer. It's got a lot of garbage on it I don't need anymore.
Well, that's the problem in this age, is the question of how to preserve things going forward, because like we're already losing old computer programs and games from the 80s and everything, and those actually have physical media where you could copy it, but unfortunately the media is starting to die. So with the digital stuff, it's even worse.
Well, you got things like Good Old Games that's been able to, keep some of the, classic games going, but there's some of the ones that are DOS specific that you don't see anymore. Like there was a Clue DOS game way back in the day. There's been times I was like, I'd love to play that again, but I have no idea how you can find it or even how you can play it.
Well, but even with Good Old Games, it's not true preservation in that a lot of those games are tweaked to run properly with certain aspects of DOSBox and everything.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to, because if you don't, it won't work right. Like the Star Wars X-Wing games, I think it has its own version of DOSBox used for it.
And I know somewhere in Japan, there's a guy, he's running basically a game preservation society, and the steps that they go through to preserve these games are just insane. I read an article on it a while ago. I'll have to try to find it for you guys.
Going in a different direction, DeviantArt has announced that they're going to do a new facelift, and it's a pretty massive lift. They're calling it DeviantArt Eclipse.
What does this mean?
I don't really know.
It means it will eclipse the previous layout.
Are they going to get rid of that ridiculous logo?
Nope. No, sir. That logo is actually still very much a part of it. Anyway, they've been apparently working for over a year, brainstorming it, planning it, researching, interviewing, testing, and more. And now they're going to finally roll it out, and beta testers get to try it out first. So I got to switch over for a little bit and try it out, and I could see people adjusting to it and getting used to it, but there's definitely some aspects of it I'm not a fan of. In fact, there's the promo site that they put out.
Sad thing is right now I do not have the ability to swap that up real quick, but yeah, drop that in the chat.
Yeah. I dropped it on ours, and I'll drop it on the Geek EZ Twitch chat. So yeah, I poked around, tried it out. It's not very intuitive. As speaking as a user and as somebody who works in computer testing and whatnot, it doesn't feel very intuitive to me. But it also definitely feels like they're trying to kind of get a little bit on ArtStation's and Facebook's design aesthetics.
All right, Smo Dog, we'll catch you later. Thanks for stopping in.
He'll be back. So yeah, like I said, there's certain features about it I'm not a fan of, and I'm hoping that as people try it out and reply back, maybe they'll incorporate some of it. But some of the responses have not been very good, and they've been valid points. Like all your deviations are, instead of the small size, they're now massive, pretty much. You also have a giant header image that you can't shrink down to not eat up almost the entire screen.
Oh, I don't like this.
You're looking it over right now.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of. I understand that websites want to have a modern look, but I'm not a fan of some of these overhauls that have been coming out lately. Like, one of the reasons I don't go to the Nerdist anymore is I'm not a fan of the new site design.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I can see getting used to it, but there's definitely some aspects about that needs to be improved, in my opinion, just because it doesn't. It's just not intuitive to me. Now, granted, when they did the last facelift that they did, there was aspects of that wasn't intuitive, but after a little bit, it's like, okay, I get it, and I could still process things pretty easily. Matter of fact, let me just mention what I posted to them as soon as I find myself again.
In fact, apparently Nerdist has backtracked some on their design, and it's more like it was before.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, if your people are leaving, then you clearly did something wrong.
Well, because they changed it, at least for a while, where instead of being able to scroll down and seeing the stories and go to different pages, it was just like a sideways scroll box, and with only like a few stories visible at a time, and it was nearly useless if you were looking for something specific.
So some of the things that I commented to them was about, this is definitely going to take some getting used to. Would rather that there weren't such large preview thumbnails, or at least have the option to go with smaller ones so I can view more of them. I'm also not sure where like the birthdays list for people that you watch is hiding, and I really don't like the idea that I might have to go hunt for it, because that's kind of what you do now with what they got. If you want to look at all the deviations, you have to click on this, you have to click this, you have to click that in order to do things. You cannot, when you're trying to favorite an image, you cannot just click and drag it into a favorites. But granted, they already just said that feature is just not available right now, so that's fair. My biggest complaint is that there's a lot of hunting that you have to do because it's not that intuitive. It's a very slick interface, but it's not something that I, as a user, would look at and go, oh, okay, I need to go here and here and do this. And then some other small bugs, like if you click on deviations, just look at them, or at group deviations, then you want to organize it by oldest or newest. They done goofed. The drop down is hiding behind the deviations, not on top of it. So you can actually switch it from newest to oldest or whichever. And also when you want to clear out your messages from the message center, the wording is like you click select all and then it says removed. Well, I didn't remove anything yet. So you click remove, or you click removed, now they're all gone. It's like, well, why don't you just name it what it actually is, remove. And also the other complaint that I have is that when I reply to a comment in my message center that someone sent to me, it doesn't go away. It just stays put. And that's stupid. I don't need a thread in my message center. I replied, go away. I don't need it right now. So there's definitely aspects about it that definitely needs tweaking.
I'll have to check it out.
Are you a beta tester?
No, I'm not.
Okay, then you'll have to go put yourself on a waiting list, and that should be in your message center currently from the big banner thing that's in it. You won't miss it.
I think I applied to be a beta tester, but I don't think I ever got it.
You don't have to apply to be a beta tester. If you have core, you can just switch to it.
No, I haven't been a core member on DeviantArt in a while.
Yeah, that's why.
It's been a long time. I haven't used DeviantArt in ages. I haven't done anything to post.
You couldn't post some of it either.
Yeah, there's stuff I'm working on stuff I can't post. I've got some stuff I can post now, but I have to get permission to do so.
Firefly.
Go
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, fine, I will. Firefly saying it sounds like they didn't pay enough attention to the user experience people. Yeah, that's possible, but after a year of that, I would think that they had. But honestly, granted, this is just my opinion, working for the company that I work for or work with, take your pick. A year for the kind of change that they're doing doesn't seem like they're spending enough time to me.
I don't know why. Didn't they? I mean, it's only been, what, 2 years since the last overhaul they did?
Oh, no, it's been longer than that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You're looking at more closer to like 4.
Huh. Time flies when you have kids.
Yeah, but Wix also purchased them, so that's the other thing I think that's driving a lot of this.
Wix, as in the crappy website service that makes you do stuff that you can do with, what's the word I'm looking for? WordPress for free.
Well, that explains a lot of the redesign.
Well, I still feel that they're just trying to compete with ArtStation and Facebook, or at least they're taking aspects of those. It's like, hey, see, we're also kind of professional. You can do this here, and that's not really what DeviantArt's kind of about,
Are they going to get rid of all the dick pics?
No, probably not. Come on.
Seriously, it's like if you set it to where you have you can sit there and see everything. It's like you go to the main page. I think you only have to scroll at least once before you get to something that you're like, yeah, that's not art. That's just you in the shower.
Yeah, there's things that are questionable, and then they jump down people's throats for other kinds of images. It's like, that's actually not a problem. I don't know where you guys are going on about, but you're going to leave all this behind. Now, granted, whataboutism is not a valid defense for anybody or anything, but all the same, when you want to hit people with certain policies, you'd be like, well, seriously, what's up with that one? Why'd you leave that and you hit me on this?
Yeah, the aspect that you can just slip through the images is like, oh, okay. It's subjective. I know art is a subjective thing, and some people do see pornographic images as art. But it still has to have an artistic flair to it. You can't just take a selfie of yourself in a dark room with bad lighting and say, hey, look, I created an artistic picture. No, you took a picture of your naked body, and you put it on the internet because you're an exhibitionist and want people to look at it.
It could be like the cleaning lady who threw out like $1,000 worth of art because it was made to look like trash, and so she was doing her job and thought it was trash and got rid of it.
Exactly. Subjective. Art is subjective. It's whoever makes it and says it's art. I'm an artist.
Back.
You're back, but your mouth didn't move. It didn't move again.
I'm sorry. Maybe if you shut up, I can talk.
Look, there it moved.
Maybe he's just being a ventriloquist. Did you ever think of that?
Maybe. Well,
I really don't have anything more that we could really discuss at this point. I'm looking forward to the idea of Command & Conquer Red Alert remake and the original Command & Conquer. Also the remaster of Warcraft 3. Dear God, I did that again. It looks so good. I do like remasters for good games.
We need an X-Wing!
Yes! Can we do that, please?
I prefer a B-wing, sir.
Can we do that and have EA not be the one that does it?
Yes. Sold. I'm sold twice over. Follow that man's suggestion.
In all fairness, EA's visual look of the Star Wars stuff is insane, but their execution, not so good.
Because they're like, money! And people are like, you know, that you need to give us more. Stop trying to milk us for every penny we've got. That's what Star Trek does.
Well, that they haven't. Everything that has been released since that big debacle has been free. It's only costing you in-game credits, and those are really easier to attain. You can do 1,500 credits just playing the arcade 15 times. They give you 1,000 credits.
But that's not the case with like the Old Republic. There's still a lot of microtransactions you'd have to do. Because apparently they're not screaming loud enough.
I mean, Stowe has been that from the get-go, though, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, Stowe's pretty bad about that. But to be fair to Stowe, you have access to all the content right out the gate. So you don't have to pay extra for any expansions that drop. You will have it. But if you want all the fancy extra ships and these unique items, then yes, you have to pay extra for that. Or you buy the keys and get the lockbox to open, etc., etc. So in all fairness, I don't like the whole lockbox thing. But if I was to pick a system to go with for the whole microtransaction thing, I'd probably go with what Stowe's doing over what EA does generally.
Well, I'm not the biggest fan of the lockbox system because it seems like if you're a well-known Stowe streamer or video producer, somehow you have better odds with the lockboxes.
Well, they probably have more money to buy the keys, and thereby they get to, open more boxes, and so it seems like they have better odds.
If you're talking about ZF Films, I'm pretty sure he records those on Dribble. I may be wrong. He's given access to the ship on Dribble. Like when we did Tribbles and Ecstasy, we were given on specifically I was given on Tribble access to the Tuffley freighter so we could review it.
So yeah, like I said, I'd still lean more towards the method Stowe does, although I'd love to just get rid of the whole randomized aspect of lockboxes. I'd like to, open the lockbox, pick what you want. That seems fair, and you'll get one shot at it. That's it, or something along those lines.
I know it's not lock boxes, but I know because I know a lot of these companies don't like data mining, and Alistair, you know about this. One thing, and yeah, it's Warframe related, but Digital Extremes releases their drop tables for what each thing drops for percentages. Now, granted, it's not a lockbox, and you don't spend in-game money to unlock these, but there's something called relics to get like the prime items, the stuff that comes out. You can buy them, but they're more. You can also work for them and grind for them. Now, people were data mining to find out what the drop chances were of all these items, and everything is RNG. Almost everything in Warframe is RNG, and they decided to get rid of these data miners. They decided, you know what, we're just going to publish our drop tables and get rid of the problem. And it worked. And they always publish their drop tables on time, and all is right.
They're so consistent at updating their drop tables that when in a day of an update, the official Warframe wiki has updated their entire drop table database, so you can know your odds of getting even the new stuff.
Yep.
I think the approach that drives me up the wall, maybe not the most, but drives me up the wall pretty bad, though, is, World of Tanks, World of Warships.
Oh, yeah.
Because the prices for the premiums in that are insane. And then you have the whole thing of, even though the prices for the premiums are insane, you can still win them in certain crates. So you're not pleasing anybody because the people that paid for it are like, well, he's not even a premium account and he just won it. And it's just crazy. I know, Tank, you won a pretty nice premium ship on World of Warships, didn't you?
Completely at random. I don't even recall what I was doing. I just know I picked a certain container. Super container drops. Like, oh, cool. Maybe I'll get something, a whole bunch of flags. And it opens up, Warspite. And Trekkie hates me ever since.
How much is Warspite in the store?
Not sure, honestly, because I have never bought a single ship in that game. I would imagine it's probably close to like $25, something similar.
Yes, Firefly. Everything. Premium items in World of Tanks do confer an actual gameplay advantage.
Oh yeah, big time.
But yeah, news-wise, I don't know. I don't have anything else.
No,
I do.
what do you got?
So I posted about this on the Geek EZ Facebook page a couple days ago. So please head over there and look for the link to this. A friend of mine lost her entire hometown to the fire in California. And she's the one that gave me the link to the big group fundraisers because she didn't feel appropriate linking personal fundraisers. She wanted something that was helping everybody, not just one group or another. It's been kind of hard. And hard for me. I can't imagine how hard it is really for her, having basically sat at a distance and watched her entire childhood go up in flames. So I know everybody listening now or in the future can't donate, but everybody can click a share button. So please go do that.
Yes.
Don't let this go quiet once it stops being a convenient, thing for ratings for news agencies. Because once it stops being this is an unintentional pun and a sad one, hot topic for news agencies, they'll stop talking about it. And yeah.
Well, and not to get political, but just to point out one of the other reasons to keep sharing it is there is the current threat of the removal of federal assistance.
Yeah, that was just...
Actually, no, I will get in on that. Because who does oversight of federal woodlands? The federal government. Not California. I'm just going to put that out there.
Like I said, I don't know if the sound got across, but that was a literal facepalm.
It came across. I'm gonna have to add that animation in there so we can actually do face palms. I will. I'll be able to figure it out, but that's just a lot of key commands that are involved.
We'll figure it all out at some point.
After a while, your fingers are just going to be these claws, all broken and whatnot. I have to push all these keys.
On a lighter note, I really want that stuffed Ein doll.
The stuffed what?
Cowboy Bebop.
For Cowboy Bebop's 20th anniversary, they've released a stuffed Ein doll, the super intelligent Welsh corgi.
Ah. Okay.
Is he actually super intelligent, or is it just a regular Welsh corgi?
He's a genetically augmented corgi.
Yeah, that's how he gets introduced. Is he got stolen by that guy because he's like special, but for some reason they never really got more in depth on it. It was like a storyline that didn't really go anywhere.
It's referenced again a couple times, like when Ein successfully hacks into something that Ed couldn't hack into.
Dead silence.
We're dying not to talk over each other.
It's all good. No, I've been handling it pretty well. I mean, got a couple of glitches. It kind of looks like the old Scooby-Doo. Actually, no, Scooby-Doo didn't do it too much, but the old Transformers used to have characters talk out of voice all the time, so it's all good.
I'm the
Oh,
only
in that
one
case,
that
we can just talk
can.
over each other now.
Exactly.
Well, Badger's easy to talk over because I don't have a key. He's not animated. He's just the ghostly voice that appears.
Damn right.
Yeah, it kind of ruined my joke.
You need for Badger, when you add him in, you need to have it where he keys up and he just slowly fades in, and it's just a Badger's face, large and in the background, slowly fades in, ghostly. It's never becomes totally opaque.
Well, my original idea for the animation was because we are all in different places, was to have us all as Star Wars holograms.
That'd be cool.
Could do that
We
for,
haven't discussed Calypso.
Has everybody seen it?
I have no idea what's talked about.
The new short track.
No.
I have not watched any of the short tracks.
Neither
There's
have I.
only been 2 so far.
Stammet still holds.
Yes,
Yeah,
Firefly, Cheshire Badger.
I will not be watching those until like season 2 Discovery comes out.
I will say, I've watched both of them. Calypso was advertised in a way that seemed like it was going to be a horror film, and it was so not what I was expecting, and I actually enjoyed it.
I liked both of them. I will say the first one kind of creates a major canon problem. Not that I'm not obsessing over that. It's just well, you guys will pick up on it when you eventually watch it. I'm not going to spoil anything.
But
Adam knows what I'm talking about. I will say that.
yeah, but you know what? We've been doing this now for an hour and 35 minutes, and I'm thinking we can call it a day.
Oh, the new Dumbo trailer has dropped.
Ooh, yay. More live action crap from Disney about they're just rehashing their old animated films, which is driving me nuts.
I am not looking forward to them eventually because I know what's going to happen. A live action Pocahontas and a live action Little Mermaid.
Well, the
Didn't
Little
I mention
Mermaid.
something other?
What?
It's like, didn't I mention something about, that certain things do not need to be live action?
Well, the live action Little Mermaid's already been talked about, and they are. I don't know about a Pocahontas, but they are doing Mulan. They're doing Aladdin. They're doing The Lion King. It's like, why? The classic animated films are perfect the way they are. Leave them alone.
Wait, we've already had a live action Pocahontas. It was called Avatar.
But, do we call it a night?
I'm good.
I believe we should.
Yeah, we can.
All right, then. Well, thanks for watching, because we actually have something to watch now. And thanks for listening. And if you just tuned in today because you saw it and you said, hey, look, there's animated people for some reason on Twitch. Thanks a lot. And come back next week. We'll be here next week again. We only do one show a week on Wednesday nights, usually between an hour and a half, 2 hours long. We'll be back next week. Same Geek Time, same Geek Channel. Right here, as always. The 4 of us, the 5 of us. The 4 of us in a ghostly voice, that's how I'll put it. But I guess.
And occasionally a robot lord.
I am a spirit.
Oh. But I'm going to say goodnight. Good night.
Well, before you say goodnight, it's like we have Comfort and Adam who's doing a stream right now. So if you want to, you can go over there and partake of the arts.
Do we host them on the Geek EZ?
I don't think so, but we probably could.
Might have to do that. Just host them over there.
Host them, host Supa. I mean, there's good things about it. We'll work on that. We'll get back to you guys. Anyway, have a good evening.
Good night.
Goodbye.
God, I hate when you do that.
All right, we're out of here. And we'll be back next week. Thanks a lot for watching. And as always, stay geeky. Because if you don't stay geeky, who's going to watch us?
Stay geeky and slightly freaky.